I mentioned in the last video, or one of the last videos, that I began a journey of inner healing. And um, the first really, the first inner healing experience I had was when I was separated from my husband before moving back to South Carolina. And I was attending a church that was just incredible. Really grateful for that church. Anyway, I had made an appointment with the pastor to get some counseling regarding my marriage situation. So I remember walking to the church, still didn't have a car yet, and pushing my kids in the stroller, one in the stroller, one walking, and the whole walk to my appointment with the pastor, I just kept thinking, I should not be doing this. I'm wasting his time. I started getting a stomach ache, but I just kept walking and eventually got there, went into his office, and he started talking to me about how God is not bound by time. He created time, the sun, the moon, the rotation, 24 hours in a day. He is outside of time. And so he can take us, show up in the past, in our lives. And, he's a spirit, and we have a spirit. So, the pastor was explaining to me how if something happened in our past, God can actually take us back to that moment and show up. So immediately I thought about the time that my father had molested me when I was about 11 or 12. And the pastor said, can you think of something that may have happened that you would like God to heal? And I said, yes. And he said, do you want to tell me what it is? And I said, no. I wanted him to tell me how I could pray for myself so that I could go home and ask God to heal me without having to tell him. So he just, kept very calmly, explaining to me how inner healing worked, and that he would be able to pray for me. And and then he stopped and he said, I know you don't want to tell me what happened, but do you think maybe you should? And I said yes, and I started crying. And I have to tell you that before this moment, I would tell people that my father molested me. I would tell people because I knew it would be hurtful to him. And this was the first time where the pain of what happened was coming up. So pastor led me through a prayer where I saw myself, and I had my eyes closed, and I am seeing in my mind's eye the room where I was molested. And what was really cool about this prayer experience is that I would see something happening, and then the pastor would say it. So it really was significant for me, because God was letting me know that he was orchestrating this prayer time. It wasn't just the pastor's, visualization and taking me through a visualization. It wasn't like that. It wasn't New Age. It was Jesus. So I saw myself in the bedroom, and my father was there. I saw Jesus come into the bedroom, remove my father's hands, And then I saw myself standing up. I was dressed in like a burlap sack. It was just dirty, and then I know that's was representing how I felt about myself, ashamed and dirty and pretty worthless. And I saw Jesus just touch my shoulders, and I was wearing a beautiful white dress. And then the pastor attempted to lead me through a prayer of forgiveness for my father. I ended up seeing myself in the hallway outside of the bedroom, and I had a bucket of blood, of Jesus's blood, of forgiveness. You know, his blood was shed for the forgiveness of sins. One thing I want to say, that when I saw my father in my bedroom in this prayer session, I saw him as though he was like a junior high age. And I know his father had died when he was about 8, and he was put in a Catholic boarding school and really mistreated there. And so I think he was kind of stuck. I feel like God was showing me that he was stuck in this emotional age. And anyway, so I'm in the hallway in my mind's eye, and the pastor wanted me to forgive my father. So I attempted to do that, and I think the pastor was leading this part, and he had me pour the bucket of blood over my father. And I did that, and I saw the blood come down about halfway, and then I just started wailing on my father with that bucket. I was so angry, and it took a long time, many years, I want to say, before I got set free from that huge amount of anger. That is another amazing story that I will share. What I want to say about this inner healing experience is it was a really significant, even though I wasn't able to forgive fully, the fact that Jesus showed up for me and communicated what he thought of me, that he thought I was pure and clean, and really just was a huge change in my life. And I remember talking to the pastor about it later, and he said that experience with Jesus was like me on one side of a mountain and God on the other side. And that was like a tunnel, just an explosion just blew through the barrier between me and God. And it was though, you know, when dynamite goes off in a tunnel, you know, there's rubble. And he said that there's going to be some big boulders there that you're going to need help getting out. But there's going to be some little things that, you know, little rocks and that you can pick up and kind of, you know, get out of the way. And I could just see, like, so the boulders came down and there were streams of light coming through, like fresh air. And I'm just super grateful for that experience. I do want to share on the next video, or one of the next videos, how I got to the place of forgiveness, what God did to help me with anger.